What's happening, y'all? Welcome in to a brand new episode of Snaps. Sharing right now. We're a little early today, about 30 minutes early, because the man in the middle right here, that is our guy, Peter Burns, of course, SEC Media Day, starting up in Dallas on Monday. Aaron's going on vacation. I will be there.
Whoa. It's media days. It's the most important part of the off season. Snaps is like on the cusp of this greatness thing, and Murray's on vacation. We'll
still be doing shows. We will be doing shows.
Cowherd chose to not renew our contract. We are, this is our last month of being paid by the volume. We are desperately trying to prove that this Snaps thing can work, that we can take the show to the next level, that maybe the independent route's the best route. And our co-host is skipping SEC Media Days. Yes, this is
okay.
Don't start. First off, you boys are getting flights and hotels paid for by ESPN and by your radio station. I'm not paying my own way to go to Dallas for SEC.
You know what? You do it for love of the game. Aaron, you do it for love of the game. And you don't love the game. You don't love the game. T-Bob, that's what I hear. I hear like he doesn't love the game.
I'll be watching your Twitter, both of you guys, getting all the news while I'm on the beach, sipping some drinks, and we'll still do Snaps at 1.
What Peter, as far as SEC Media Days goes, what are you most excited for? Y'all are sitting there, SEC Network production rooms. You're doing Get Up, like in those production rooms. Like, what are the conversations that they're going to try to stoke next week?
I mean, it's a couple of things. Is who's got the pressure on them coming into the year, right? And I think the if you get into the weeds of the SEC, I think that clearly the two pressure pack situations as far as jobs security is concerned are more than likely going to be Sam Pittman at Arkansas, Billy Napier at Florida, and possibly maybe if things get kind of crazy, Shane Beamer at South Carolina, although I'm not necessarily think that's a done deal and they can turn it around. But so those are the things, but I look at it in the opposite side of it, like what teams truly have pressure. And I think, honestly, it starts, believe it or not, with Lane Kiffin, not Kirby, not Kalen DeBoer, not Brian Kelly. I think it starts with Lane Kiffin because this entire offseason, guys, how much have we talked about come to the SIP? And there's a tweet, and there's this new transfer portal world that Lane lives in. They have been really good over the last couple of years with a 12-team playoff. It's not make the playoffs. It's a disappointment if they don't make the playoffs.
100%.
I mean, Jaxson Dart. Sorry, Aaron, real quick. So I want to follow up on Ole Miss here. Yeah. When you look at top quarterbacks in the country, I don't know why this is. Like, I feel like Jaxson Dart almost becomes an afterthought. But when you look at the guys that are ranked ahead of him, he actually had a statistically superior year than a lot of them in terms of total yards, touchdowns, like turnovers. He won 11 games, including kicking Penn State's ass. He's going into year 3 under Lane Kiffin. And even with the loss of Quinshon Judkins, you can make the argument that he has better weapons. Oh, and the offensive line sucked kind of last year, right? And like they put everything to make that O-line better. Like, is Jaxson Dart kind of the dark horse Heisman?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Jaxson, in order for him to be a Heisman, I think it's very difficult in Lane Kiffin's offense to be a Heisman Trophy winner. And what I mean by that is a lot of people, when you go look at the splits, Aaron, you've probably, T-Bob, you've done it as well too. Lane Kiffin runs the ball.
Yeah,
they're a run-first offense. Like I think the first people, they think about Lane throwing up the clipboard up in the air and hitting Trey Harris and throwing for a bunch of yards, but they're a run-first team that takes the option to pass it a little bit more. So to me, I think it's difficult for him to be able to put up those type numbers that you might see from a Quinn, that you might see from any other from Nussmeier, really, in that offense over at LSU. Like, it has become a passing touchdown type, or passing offense type, award as of late. Even Jane Daniels, I mean, look at the numbers that he put up. I just don't know if he'll get those numbers to be a Heisman guy. But third year, that's another reason why I think Lane's got the most amount of pressure on him, Aaron, to come into a situation of you need to make the playoff this year.
Yeah, and they got two great, probably maybe one of the best tandems of receivers in the country too to throw to. So maybe he changed up a little bit with Dart, but he could put some rushing numbers up too. The thing that I like about SEC Media Days is the passion of the fans. You walk into the hotel, you got fans downstairs, they're dressed up, they got the headgear. This year, first year, Texas, Oklahoma. It's in Dallas, going to be a little bit different flavor. What are you anticipating for this year's SEC Media Days because of the new location with the addition of those two new teams?
Yeah, I mean, I think there'll be a buzz, and what I'm really kind of interested to see is how A&M fits into this whole mix, right? I think there's going to be a lot of people that can't wait to talk to Sark in Texas, and that team's going to be ripping. With Quinn Ewers going to be there. Like I was just down there for the Welcome to the SEC show. I was down there for the spring game. They're legit guys. I mean, They get off the bus. They look exactly how Alabama did in their national championship games. The way that Georgia did in the last 3 seasons under Kirby. Sark's got that thing rolling. And so people are going to be, excited about that. They're going to be excited about Brent Venables in Oklahoma and the notoriety of that program. And Jaxson Arnold's going to be kind of cool to watch. But where does Mike Elko fall, right? This is such an important year for Elko because with Texas, I only see them getting bigger, better, and stronger in this conference. I don't think that they're going to struggle when they meet SEC play. The question is, will A&M, who before Texas and Oklahoma and before this schedule got put together, they had an opportunity. And they kind of almost broke through in that weird year of 2020, but they had this 10-year, decade head start over Texas. And now that head start is no longer there. In fact, you could argue that they're behind Texas right now. So there's a lot of pressure on Mike Elko and Connor Wegman to be 100% healthy. But you go back and look, guys, when was the last time A&M had a 100% healthy QB for the year?
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, it feels like it's been a while. I wonder with Texas A&M, I'm really coming around on them the more and more that we talk about them. They have
coming on them because your strength coach said they're going to go 10-2. So you're sipping the Kool-Aid now. Let's be honest.
I mean, look, it's undeniable that one reason is Tommy Moffitt. Certainly. I mean, I'm obviously biased there, but he is. I mean, his resume does speak for itself. Yeah, he's one of the best strength coaches of all time. Like if nothing else, I know Texas A&M won't be soft. And look, I think they've had a bit of a culture problem. Under Jimbo, all
incredibly
flash,
soft.
No substance.
There was a bunch of mercenaries. It didn't fit with Jimbo.
Yes.
It was a disaster. And
a bunch of guys that were there to get paid. They just want to get paid.
Now, there's been a natural culling of sorts, right? Where the guys who remain are kind of those that stuck it out. They still have a top 8 talented roster in the entire country, even after you factor in transfer portal. The Mike Elko hire represents a bit more of even a humble attitude than what I would have expected out of them. I feel like their opportunity to immediately, nobody has a greater chance week 1 to immediately shake up the entirety of the college football world than A&M does going head to head with Notre Dame.
Zero doubt, right? Because it's the Notre Dame, it's the brand, it's the opportunity. It's something that LSU hadn't been able to do in the last 2 years against FSU, and we'll see if they could do it against USC on that Sunday night. But it's just like, hey, we're here. I mean, I'm still torn about the time that Kevin Sumlin and those guys had like a 40-point lead over UCLA, and they got the baton and the pimp walk on the sidelines. And it might have been Josh Rosen back in the day in his hot tub where he put up a bunch of points on them. So, I mean, Elko is the speak softly and carry a big stick type guy.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think that there's a lot of people undervaluing them. And, obviously I co-host with Chris Doring, and Doring is trying to pump me full of the Kool-Aid saying, listen, I get how tough Florida's schedule is, but this team is a lot better than people would think. And I know Doring enough. I mean, last year he thought Florida was going to be terrible. He thought that team was going to be a 3 or 4 win team. And because he was boots on the ground, he saw it. Yep. He's got me drinking this Kool-Aid of it. And it's amazing the group
Graham Mertz, baby.
I like Graham.
I like Graham a lot too.
And I think Billy is the same thing. He's not going to be as out there like a Lane Kiffin or any of these other coaches. For him, it's just kind of like, hey, get the work done. And now the schedules didn't do them any favors, right? Like Miami's a pretty decent team. They're scheduled to win 9 in the ACC, but that's the ACC, right? Like I think that's a coin flip game, and Billy Napier needs to start winning these coin flip games.
What does Florida's record look like, though? Do you have to be successful?
Real quick. Yeah. Go answer the question. T-Bob just always sabotages the interviews. Always.
I'm sorry. I'm going to give you a spanking. What I'm saying is, if we are, I just want numbers put on it. If we're saying that Florida's going to surprise, what does that look like? Because with that schedule,
we had them at 5-7. We had them at 5-7. What do you have them at, Peter?
I mean, if you're going to say Florida this year, I think that they're a team that can go 7-5, and It's a weird number to think about Florida football going 7-5 and everybody not going, ugh, that's disgusting.
That's
like
kind of my point. Yeah.
It's a weird deal because, I mean, last year we all whiffed on Missouri. We didn't think that Brady Cook was going to be that guy, Cody Schrader. There's somebody that always takes that jump. I think the two candidates for that are going to be Florida, and I think it's going to be Mississippi State with Jeff Levy in that offense, right? Like, I remember when Jeff Levy was the offensive coordinator when Ole Miss got ripping under Lane. So I don't think that they have I think people are sleeping on them, but I think that they're going to be just kind of a pain in everybody's ass coming, for the next couple of years going forward.
I know you have to go real quick. We talked about Texas, Oklahoma, their first SEC media days. We have them as we did like this whole, schedule, rankings, record prediction, third thing with the SEC. We have them at 6-6, but we also said that they have a lot of toss-up games where they can ruin and really change the playoff picture for a lot of teams. Alabama, LSU, Missouri, they play Texas, they Tennessee. Like, they play a lot of teams that have a chance to legitimately make the playoffs and can screw their season up. So we had them at 6-6. Where are you feeling about the Sooners heading into the year?
I mean, I don't even know if Brent Venables know how to feel about the Sooners. That's the one thing about media days is we get here in mid-July and all the guys like literally are coming off of vacation. They're like, and especially with the transfer portal, they're like, I don't know who the hell's on the team. That's why I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think they're a 7-5, 8-4 team. I think it's just important that you don't backslide in the first year, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's looking at it going, hey, are you going to be able to take this 98-mile-an-hour fastball that is SEC football? Or are you going to back out of the batter's box? I don't think that they will. I think Texas is by far ready for it. I don't know about Oklahoma. I'd argue that Oklahoma is the biggest question mark, them and Tennessee, of any of the teams coming in. That I can see a fairly decent high ceiling, and I can see a floor in which I didn't understand was there.
Yeah. What's crazy to me about Oklahoma, kind of what Aaron was getting at, PB, is when you look at schedules, they kind of represent the difference between 9-3 and 10-2 for like 4 different teams. Mm-hmm. Like I believe it's going to come down to, do you end up winning that first matchup with the Sooners? LSU, one of those teams. I feel like LSU, Oklahoma, if we get that at the end of every year, that could be a very exciting matchup going forward. It's one that they're going to try to make happen.
Listen, I got to go, but here's the deal on LSU real quick because I wanted to touch on that. I said this, and I argued to the death with Dorian a couple of days ago. If they win the USC game, which I think that they can win, okay, I can't find 3 other losses on that schedule. I can't. I can't find it. If they beat USC and the defense is just mediocre, I'm talking top 60. I think the offense will take a little bit of a jump back, but not to the point.
Ole Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas A&M.
It's 4 right there. 3 losses. I don't see 3 losses.
You don't see 3. Okay.
Well, Aaron, but you know how we play this game. You take the toss-ups, and even if you split them down the middle to try to play, you get some, you lose some. It's still 10-2. I mean, you would have been 10-2 the last 2 years had you not lost to Florida State. Yeah. So, like, they've been right there, and now losing to USC would be an abject disaster.
I mean, this is a disaster. For going to be 3 years in a row, Brian Kelly is like, I got it, I'm ready to go, and they get punked by a team. Yeah. You cannot do that, especially with the USC losing Caleb Williams and all those guys. So this is the year that you have to do it. It's maybe the best offensive line, T-Bob, that LSU has had in a long
maybe
time.
Ever. I mean, maybe ever. I mean, you got to look at like the 03 offensive line to even come close with like Witt and Wilkerson and Peterman. But like, I don't know. This O-line's the best I've ever seen.
Yeah. So looking forward to it, boys. I got to roll.
Safe travels.
Flight. I'll be working this week. T-Bob, you'll be working next week, right? Okay.
Yes. I will be hosting snaps. Do not worry, guys.
Aaron, I will also be hosting snaps. I just will be in a different location.
You will not be, actually. I doubt you'll have been there. PB, fly safe, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Have fun on Get Up. That's awesome, dude. Congrats.